Amendment number 15, passed by Congress February 26, 1869, ratified February 3, 1870. Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of race, color, or condition or previous condition of servitude. Section 2. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment number 16, passed by Congress July 2, 1909, ratified February 3, 1913. Note, Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution was modified by Amendment 16. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes. Oh, this is another controversial one. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Amendment number 17, passed by Congress May 13, 1912, ratified April 8, 1913. Note, Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution was modified by the 17th Amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualification requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of each state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election, as the legislature may direct. This amendment shall not be construed to affect the election or term of any senator chosen before it becomes valid as part of the Constitution. Amendment number 18, passed by Congress December 18, 1917, ratified January 16, 1919, repealed by Amendment 21. Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, and transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof into or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. The Constitution and several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Section 3. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by legislatures of the several states, as provided in the Constitution, within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the state by the Congress. Amendment number 19, passed by the Congress June 4, 1919, ratified August 18, 1920. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged in the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment number 20, passed by Congress on March 2, 1932, ratified January 23, 1933. Note, Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution was modified by Section 2 of this amendment. In addition, a portion of the 12th Amendment was superseded by Section 3. Section number 1. The term of the President and Vice President shall not end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the term of Senators and Representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January of the years in which such terms would have ended if this article had not been ratified, and terms of their successors shall then begin. Section 2. The Congress shall assemble at least once every year and shall meet, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section number 3. If at the time fixed for the beginning of the term of the president-elect shall have died, the vice president-elect shall become president. If a president shall not have been chosen before the time fixed for the beginning of his term, or if the president-elect shall have failed to qualify, then the vice president-elect shall act as president until the president shall have qualified, and the Congress may by law provide for the case wherein neither a president-elect nor vice president-elect shall have qualified, declaring who shall then act as president, or the manner in which one who is to act shall be selected, and such person shall act accordingly until the president or vice president shall have qualified. Section number 4. The Congress may by law provide for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives may choose a president whenever the right of choice shall be devolved upon them, and for the case of death of any of the persons from whom the Senate may choose a vice president whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them. Section 5. Section 1 and 2 shall take effect on the 15th day of October following the ratification of this article. Section number 6. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission. Amendment number 21, passed by Congress February 20th, 1933, ratified December 5th, 1933. Section 1. The 18th article of amendment of the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. Section 2. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereof is hereby prohibited. Section 3. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by conventions in the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by Congress. Amendment number 22, passed by the Congress March 21st, 1947, ratified February 27th, 1951. Section 1. No person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice, and no person who has held office of President or acted as President for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected shall be elected to office of the President more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of President when the article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of President or acting as President during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of President or acting as President during the remainder of such term. Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission to the states by Congress. Amendment number 23, passed on Congress June 16, 1960, ratified March 29, 1961. Section 1. The district constituting the seat of government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors of President and Vice President equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in the Congress to which the districts would be entitled if it were state, but in no event more than the least populous state. They shall be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of the election of the President and Vice President to be electors appointed by a state, and they shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th Article of Amendment. Section 2. The Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment number 24, passed by the Congress August 27, 1962, ratified January 23, 1964. Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in a primary or other election for President and Vice President, for electors for the President or Vice President, or for senators or representatives in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. Section 2. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment number 25, passed by Congress July 6, 1965, ratified February 10, 1967. Note that Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution was affected by the 25th Amendment. Section 1. In case of the removal of the President of the office, from the office, or of his death or resignation, the Vice President shall become the President. Section 2. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the Vice President, the President shall nominate a Vice President who shall take office upon confirmation by the majority vote of the Houses of Congress. Section 3. Whenever the President transmits to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives has his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the Vice President as acting President.